Home, mother, family. These are words that each of us defines and redefines in our own way. Home, a safe haven, a place to know is yours. Mother, the woman you cherish as the nurturer in your life. And there are all kinds of families, nuclear families, but also blended, extended, single-parent families. Phyllis Chaison is one inspiring woman who has made many places home and has been a mom in every kind of family.
Oh, yeah, one of the ski trips.
What are you talking about?
Which one?
The way you stand on it.
See, I don't
All you did was stand on the skis on the flat and you started crying. She's at the bottom of the hill. She's on the skis.
Today, home is Port Townsend, Washington, and Phyllis is mother to not only Tony and Andy, who are adopted, but also David, her biological son, and Amy and Greg, her stepchildren. With husband Hal by her side, they are the picture-perfect blended family. But the road to this moment has been riddled with turmoil, especially for Phyllis. It's been hard work. She admits this, but her family has been a labor of love.
The one thing that Hal and I kept in mind through the whole process of raising them was it wasn't up to us to feel happy all the time. We had an end goal in mind, which was raising autonomous children.
David came first, then Tonya and Andrea arrived. Phyllis fell in love with them the first time she ever laid eyes on the little girls, staring back at her from a photo in the newspaper. The caption said, "Unwanted."
Andrea was 13 months, and she was darling. And there was another little girl. Tonya was 2.5. I called in, and the caseworker said, "Now, did you want one of them or both of them? We don't have to keep them together just because they're sisters." And that was the first we knew they were sisters. And of course, we took both of them. We were told Tonya had 11 different foster homes and 7 inpatient hospital admissions. But we were assured that all she needed was love. And that wasn't true. We gave lots of love, and by the end of a year knew she needed psychiatric help. There were others who thought I'd made a terrible mistake and should just give up while I was ahead and send Tony to an institution or give her back to the state. And I just never understood that kind of reasoning. You could give birth to a child with handicaps. What do? Give them back? I mean, it didn't make any more sense to me to give back an adopted child. I found out many years later, the mother had admitted to these doctors that she had taken cocaine during the pregnancy.
I was neglected in a lot of ways. I remember one incident where I was in a high chair and my birth mother was making dinner and she just ate there by herself. She didn't give me any. She just, like, "What are you crying for?" And I remember being locked in a closet and I was almost drowned by my birth mother, and that's why I don't take baths.
We worked with a therapist, and he said she was still throwing violent temper tantrums at that age. And he said, "Well, what do you expect?" He said, "When I first saw her, I thought she'd end up in an institution wiping her feces on the walls." I didn't expect for her to grow up and be, I don't know, President of the United States, but I did think that she could function like a normal, regular member of society.
Then, when the going got really tough, Phyllis's husband bailed out and filed for divorce.
My first husband left us when, my son was in the middle of 8th grade, and the girls were in 3rd grade and 5th grade. That was hard on all of them, and they were all pretty frightened. And I was recovering from major surgery at the time, so it was also, I wasn't working, and life was really hard for us for a while. And at one point, we were driving, and the girls were in the back seat, and there was a silence, and Andy says, "Well, so when do we go to the foster home?" And I said, "Well, you don't go to a foster home." This still makes me cry. And I said, "Well, I'm not going to leave you. I'm your mother."
Enter a widower with 2 teenagers who fell in love with Phyllis and her kids. In 1986, a new family was born. With so much love in the air, her own strong will, and a no-nonsense parenting style, Phyllis believed that this new family would work.
At the very beginning, we thought, oh, well, this will just be great. We'll just get them all together and everybody will be happy. And it wasn't fine. It was awful.
We all came from different backgrounds and situations and things like that. So even though we lived together, we all did things separately.
Amy was gorgeous. She should be a model. I didn't hate her, but I also didn't like her either. You know, it was like mixed feelings. My childhood years were tough. I mean, were really hard for me to grow up with that anger. I hated the fact that not that I was alive, but the way I looked. And my mom always told me I was beautiful no matter what and I just didn't believe her, but now I do.
The hostility was more than skin deep. Phyllis knew that she couldn't force the kids to love one another, but she could lead them by example. She encouraged understanding by being compassionate herself. She taught tolerance by celebrating, not hiding, the differences between all 5 children.
I think the greatest gift I can give a child is the capacity for resilience. I can't give them happiness. I can't give them fame or fortune or even good luck.
We have a small business and we let the kids work for us, and we had to fire all of them a couple times.
Right.
To get them to...
I never got fired.
Oh, yes you
I
did.
got fired. I remember getting fired.
I just changed position. It's taken us both a lot of years to come to where we are, where we can actually tell each other that we love each other. Some of us were really hard on her growing up, but now that I'm older, you know, I could see that, I could apologize for that, and, you know, just kind of do the best that I can to work our relationship and make it better.
I guess you kind of learn that you don't get to choose your family. You know, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family, and so it's easier just to try and realize that everyone's going to be different.
The list I have for my mom of thank yous goes around the world 9, 10, 12, 100 million times. If I could say one thing to my mom, Phyllis, I would have to say thank you for giving me life.
Today, Tony works with the severely disabled and learning impaired, and Andy works for a telecommunications company in Arizona. Biological, adoptive, and stepchildren, through prejudice and heartache, divorced, single, remarried. Phyllis has been through it all, and on this day, daughter Amy is the first child to make the family circle a little wider. The family is being reborn yet again, and Phyllis is waiting with open arms.
Every single one of my children is self-supporting, able to work and do a good job and take care of themselves in the world. And I can't imagine anything more successful.